the brawl for the belt continues as we delve straight back into another best of 3 series as we would kindly invite Raisy out to the stage. A man that's hopefully going to be raising hell like Smoking Joe Fraser the Hellraiser, raising hell with his railgun flavor. He is a beast on the server and he will be facing off against Cha1n. Our 2 competitors for our next best of 3 series. Both of them are ridiculously strong when it comes down to their aiming capabilities. Dan, which one of them is going to come out on top in this bust-up?
Raisy.
100%?
To be fair, yes.
All right, I like it. There's confidence in you.
I mean, I haven't watched any of Cha1n this event. I've seen him in the Quake Pro League, obviously, but this event, he came out on top against Dramus, which was, it was a close affair.
It's a shock, right, as well?
A little bit of shock. They come in they were in a similar vein in terms of QPL standings, but Dramus was coming in a slightly higher standing on form. But Raisy is just another level of good. If there's one player that's just I've never seen phased, apart from probably Cooler, it's always Raisy. It's just he's just a monster.
Are you also subscribing to the Raisy effect, Ryan?
I mean, it's hard not to. He is one of the absolute most consistent players in the world, and he pretty much has been since he started competing in Quake Champions.
Yeah,
he really was one of the... he was the original kind of just up-and-comer.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Quake World Championships in 2017. Raisy was this player that everyone was kind of like, well, who's that? Who's this Raisy guy? So people knew he was a talented FPS player, and they knew that he had experience with Quake, but for a lot of people, that was kind of the end of things. And then you just look at his insane, like, week-by-week basis climb, where you almost feel like you missed the part where he just randomly became one of the best players in the world from a lot of people not knowing who he was.
Why don't we look into those statistics and see how well he performed over the course of Stage 2 online, obviously.
Like, I don't feel even these stats as amazing as they are. I don't think they tell the full story. It just feels like when Raisy plays online, a lot of the time he's just, I'm just going to try something.
Yeah? I feel like it's a lot more of the freestyle, just basically using it as more of a benchmark to learn.
Well, the thing is, if you go on Raisy's stream, he does the weirdest stuff in ranked duels against anyone. And I always think that is just in
that's one of his strengths.
That's him just having fun with the game on one hand, but on the other hand, he just gives everything a go. And you almost get the impression during like some of the weekly stuff that maybe when the chips are down, he doesn't quite differentiate when he's just playing online and doing whatever. And this map's actually a tournament map where like maybe it won't work. It just doesn't seem to be something that he is as phased by. We've seen he's gone up against some world-class players in the weeklies, and he still tries stuff that you would never really expect someone to give a go, whether it's a playstyle related, whether it's champion related. He just gives it a go.
That's one of his strengths, but I can't remember who I was speaking to. He's one of the top players where they're like, sometimes with Raisy, I just can't predict him. I don't know what he's going to do. And then when you have the aim to back it up, like his aim is unparalleled.
He is unpredictable, but hopefully something we can predict is what he's gone for in the VO. We do have the picks and bans, so let's see if this is going to catch you off guard, Dan, or if it's like a little bit more normal.
Clutch boys.
This is nice.
Yeah, like, okay, he's picked Clutch and Ruins, which, if you want to do that, that's like one of the first ever maps you'd pitch Clutch on, but now it's one of the last maps you probably pitch Clutch on.
The duality of man.
And it's just Raisy being Raisy. Like, we know Raisy loves Galena. Like, we're going to see some off-the-wall bat crazy totem placements coming out of him, and he always makes it work, and they're always in different places, and it's just alright. It's Raisy. You want to speak about Clutch though?
There's no really getting around the fact that he is the best Clutch player in the world right now, and for I think context of that, I know he made like a new account. It was called like Clutch Only Maestro Raisy, and he went from like a 0 to hero ranked grind where he went to the highest ranked with literally just Clutch, and that's it, 100%. And that was just for fun, I think. I literally think he just felt like doing it. But he's one of the players where if Clutch makes it through, he will pick Clutch.
Yeah.
And when he approaches Clutch, it's not the Clutch. If anyone watched, when Quake Champions was kind of in its newer stages, when Clutch had the forward-facing shield, some of his passives were a bit different. God forbid when he didn't have the air dash. He's a different champion in Quake Pro League. He has that general shield that exists around him. He can fire through it. And it has kind of created if you could even believe Clutch could be more aggressive, a more aggressive version of this champion. And when Raisy plays it, it's all out all the time.
I mean, even in that matchup, right, without the use of the shield, like if you're coming up against, and this is Raisy, if you're coming up against a stack clutch against a Nyx, Raisy will take you on a one-on-one fight, and you've got like triple the stack. You're gonna die. So Raisy, it's just gonna absolutely wipe the floor if he does it well with that matchup. It's gonna be insane. And just a clutch coming at you is just one of the most scary experiences known to man.
Especially the worrying factor is it's a clutch being played by Raisy, who, in terms of his movement, it looks like he could genuinely navigate any map you threw at him, like the back of his hand with his eyes closed, with his keyboard upside down.
And he will out-aim you even though he's 4 times the size.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's ridiculous, the sheer individual understanding of mechanics this man has. Like, it's wild.
However, to pay him his dues, Cha1n is one of those up-and-coming players. You know, I think there's no getting around the fact that this is a hard matchup. Like, this is going to be it is going to be a tricky match for him.
I think a toughie is the technical term.
But I don't think I can ever say I don't think I can ever say he's got no chance. You know, Cha1n, he is one of those players that he's on the grind like everybody else. And he's been able to have some decent results here and there. He's just not as consistent as Raisy. And I think Raisy is the favorite. This could be a 2-1, but realistically, I do think probably 2-0 is the most likely outcome for Raisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0.
That's fair enough. I definitely feel like there is potentially a chance for Cha1n to do some damage. We know he can go to toe in the middle of a cell when it comes down to just individual aim, but you've also got to take in the extra factors, especially based off the picks and bans as well. I feel like that edges out more in favor of Raisy just from the champion picks.
Definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that sentiment. Plus, you know, the history of Raisy, the aim of Raisy, the pedigree of Raisy, and the recent results of Raisy. Everything's in Raisy's corner.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find something to give me any hope for Cha1n in this matchup, unfortunately.
Well, you never know. Hopefully he will impress you on the server, as it's time to kick this one off. Cha1n, the challenger, tries to take down Raisy. Let's see who will walk away as victors. Enjoy this one, lads.
Thank you.
Okay, looks like we're checking out Raisy first. Whenever you know Raisy has Galena, you're going to expect at least one totem that you've never seen before.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that creativity that a lot of players are beginning to show. And even though the totems are a little bit funky, it's always interesting to see what these guys can think up and just realize about the engine.
Looks like he might spring the trap. Patience from Raisy, and looking like Cha1n hasn't got many weapons ready to go either. Doesn't want to just let him take the heavy uncontested, but yeah, you know, we talked about it. Ask and you shall receive. Bam.
You douchebag. Raisy.
There it is. Well, Cha1n, I guess maybe Cha1n, when he had that rail angle, might have seen that Raisy was looking directly up, but I don't know.
I doubt that. And I haven't seen any of the American scene not abusing, but, you know, utilizing in-game creative
rinsing it
as much as Raisy. So the likelihood that he finds that is slim at best. If he does, I'm going to clap him. Has he seen it? No.
I think it's gone.
Oh, it's gone. He found it. I'm going to clap him.
Oh, I told you he saw it.
Oh, mate.
I'll take all the credit for that.
Mate.
All the credit. But either way.
Good rocket jump going through, picking up the heavy, and he's going to get in time for the Mega as well. Cha1n's in a lot of trouble here. Does manage to sneak away, though.
Yeah, but Raisy's not interested in the Mega. He's interested in a frag, and he's looking for it. He knows he's in the better position, so he can kind of risk this little mini push out. But now it's time to potentially double back.
You're watching Raisy is really, really interesting. He doesn't seem to make, he doesn't charge around the map like some players, but he always just seems to take these positions that don't seem too unorthodox, but then people just run into him. And he just continually just suffocates you. It's a weird dichotomy in the way you watch him play. I don't know if you feel the same way.
It's very free-flowing. Yeah. And that's what I love watching Raisy. And a huge part of that, I think, just comes down to how much he plays this game.
True.
Like, during even off-season sections when there wasn't much going on, from a competitive sense, you know, before Quake Pro League even began, Raisy was still one of the players that was every day, Quake, every day.
His rate of progression has impressed me. And one of the facets of his game has been his rail. I think when he hits the scene, originally, he was well known for lightning gun, but his rail is one of his strongest features now, and it's begun to define him a little bit.
I'll never forget how he actually managed to practice the rail. He acknowledged himself, I believe it was at DreamHack Denver, an interview where he said he trained rail by just jumping into free-for-alls and using exclusively the rail, 100%, ignoring whether he wins or loses, just doing that for weeks on end, just constantly rail all day, every day until he got it.
It's definitely a technique that would work for some people.
but now he controls the high ground. Minimal.
Whoa.
I mean, the LG is pretty good here, but Cha1n.
Cha1n is in a good
finish it.
position now. There's no mega up for another 10 seconds, so if he can get across, he could do some serious damage. I think he knows it, but instead prefers to back off just to pick up the weaponry he needs for the next engagement.
I'm really liking that totem placement from Raisy. It almost looks like that totem only triggers if you're in the middle of a strafe jump because of how high up it is. Where it's like, if you're just using it as like an escape and you're running towards the teleporter, it just so happens to heal you up enough for when you come through the other side. And, oh, there it is. He's pulled the trigger on it. I'll never get tired of watching Raisy use Galena. He has the strangest totem locations. But you can see the method in every single one. And that's information for Raisy. Cha1n, he took the damage, obviously, but the big thing really is that it's almost like a portable radar when someone stands on the totem.
The information is also just as key as the healing in some situations.
And there's that rocket coming out, but Raisy's not going to make it easy to get information.
Cha1n's doing a good job of consolidating the score without losing too much. He has managed to steal that heavy and is in a good position for that rocket. Rail, he is going to go down.
Yeah. No need to overcomplicate things there.
And every frag so far has been clean, more or less clean by Raisy, which is why Cha1n hasn't been able to get back onto the map just yet, and that overstack is back, meaning Raisy can leave this heavy if he needs to fall back on. He's already got the max stack. This is why he's not committing to it just yet.
I mean, Raisy's barely spent any time near rail location either. He hasn't needed to.
No, he's just
That
controlling
entire
the high
section,
ground.
the entire section of the map has just been unknown to him. Looks like
Cha1n has no idea when the Mega is up. He's not in a good position. Does push in aggressively. He's doing an incredible amount of damage. He could kill Raisy here.
Oh no, the reactions on the super shotgun too extreme. Now Cha1n, small victories. He shut down the 2 totems that were on the teleporter, but he's conceding a frag all the same. And now Raisy's going to simply reset up again. Heavy's about to spawn. If Cha1n wants to go for this, it's risky business. 100 damage again to the Sex. It's the rockets for Raisy are so underrated.
Talk about basics. This is all Raisy is showing us. Like, as you rightly said, his heat map of movement is about 1/3 of the entire spectrum of what's available to him. He's just sitting around that high ground. Did he just bounce onto the totem?
He bounced him from the rocket on the totem, and Cha1n could do nothing to stop that. I guess maybe he could have dire-orbed if he had, like, he could see into the future, but that was fantastic. Oh my word.
Yeah, I mean, this is basics at its finest. He's not moving from this area. He doesn't need to.
Raisy just makes it look easy.
He does.
And no matter who he's against, he just has these free-flowing, smooth sailing maps that just... You sometimes forget that it really is like this collection of players that are all dangerous, because when Raisy plays against so many... Like situations like this where it's just optimization, gauntlet, yeah, of course, let's go for it, because why not? We're point blank, it'll do the most damage. You'll rarely catch Raisy with the wrong weapon out.
No, it's... I think you put it right. It's efficiency at its finest.
Now
Cha1n's being forced into these situations where he needs to take risks like that. Cha1n wants to fight anyway, but Raisy's always pulling him into situations that is Raisy's favor. I think that's 3 or 4 times he's gone through the teleporter and caught Cha1n from behind.
Wouldn't be Raisy without a nail jump either, that's for sure. At least 1 per map. Ooh, wonderful timing on the rail. Yeah, really nice timing on it too. Should be a collection for the Mega, unless he's actually confident he can shut it down. Because again, we're so late on the map at this point. Raisy has no reason to push too hard.
Oh, Raisy was going to go for that overstack totem, but falls down. That could be the end of him if Cha1n is able to get in here. Raisy's doing a good job of just staying alive, and Cha1n does catch him. 3 minutes to go. There's still 6 frags.
6 frags in 3 minutes. And that's under the assumption that Raisy won't get any more frags while he's at it.
Exactly. It's going to be tough, but still doable on this map.
But Cha1n, the placings of the totem is going to naturally slow him down quite a bit, I imagine, because you have to be a little bit careful around these corners.
Nice, he's found another
Cha1n, wonderful choice too to kind of cover 2 bases. If he had to teleport away because he was going to die, he could. If there was no Raisy here and he just had to re-navigate, he could.
Exactly.
The gift that keeps on giving. Thank you, dire-orb. But now Raisy, yeah, he's being slow. He's digging his heels in. You can see finally starting to set up shop near rail. And he spent no time there on the map. That Cha1n looks a little bit lost as to where he might be, because Raisy's finally standing where he's pretty much never been the whole time, and now by the time Cha1n is here, Raisy is there no longer.
Yeah, and Raisy has nothing. He doesn't need to commit. He's just going to hold these positions where if Cha1n pushes in, he's going to do a lot of return damage and probably win the fight. He's also managed to sneak away the Mega. Now Cha1n is definitely on the back foot. And once again, Raisy will have control. Goes in to try and finish Cha1n. Good switcheroo.
What I'm concerned about, though, is how long it's taken for some of these frags to come forward.
How long and how dirty they are, right? That Cha1n, out of every engagement, is coming away really low. This time he does manage to pick up the heavy and catch Raisy, but that rail's going to stop him in his tracks.
At least he didn't use the jump pad. Would have been a suicide mission.
Yeah.
But 1.5 minutes left. And, I mean, frankly, not enough frags to be able to obtain here. Raisy's not going to make it easy either. I mean, he knows it is always coming back to that efficiency where Cha1n, he's just looked quite uncomfortable all map long. And when something finally happens, he's just, even if he wants to fight, he's not quite ready to fight because Raisy has just forced it upon him.
Yeah. Too many frags, too little time now. 1 minute remaining, 4 frags. It's tough ask to even get one as Raisy's the one doing the damage.
It's going to be quite nerve-wracking with how this map went forward.
Nice combos.
Yeah, definite signs of life execution-wise, with the exception of that fumble at the end, the missed shot there. But water under the bridge at this point. It would have been cool, but it wouldn't really have made a difference. I am nervous, though, with how this first map went down, with the fact that Raisy gets his clutch in the next map.
This was definitely the map I would have seen Cha1n taking out of the ones on offer, and I think it's just a story of efficiency. Like, first 5-6 minutes, Raisy just patrolled the high ground, forced Cha1n into these close combat situations, particularly around the teleporter area. And it was all too easy in the end.
At this stage, it's more just fighting for the sake of it, I think. Raisy's going to take this very convincingly in a 1-0 so far. Nervous about the next map with the clutch coming out to play that you really need to... Until you've played off against Raisy's clutch extensively, it's hard to say you kind of know the modern clutch matchup.
Exactly, and this is particularly a fear for Cha1n, as you rightly say, is that no one plays clutch like Raisy. And now you're coming up against a player you've never played, potentially, and a champion you've never played against under him. So there's a lot that needs to be learned in the first few minutes of the game if you're going to adjust enough to keep in it.
But we can look at so many of these different replays, and so many of the fights are Cha1n's hand really being forced,
exactly.
And Raisy just having perfect combat skill. Every weapon perfect, every choice perfect, every shot like max damage. That was my favorite frag of the map. Oh, that's just a very Raisy frag. But I mean, Cha1n, you feel like he kind of did what he could. It's just the second it began and Raisy was like, I know what I'm going to do here. And the totems played a massive part in it. It was just the fact that he was always healed up and ready to go.
Like, Cha1n made a really good matchup of it, but it just felt even when he had control, Raisy was in a position to consistently bully him. And so whenever Cha1n was coming out of these situations, even if he got the frags, he then had to backtrack, restack, get back up to fighting shape. So Raisy had a chance to get his own footprint back onto the map. So it was never a clean enough control period where he had enough momentum to really bully Raisy out of that control.
Well, we just have to wait a few minutes, I suppose, at this stage. We're now going to be loading in Nyx versus Clutch, and you touched on this right at the very beginning, which is if Raisy really gets going here, like, it won't even matter if he has the shield. Oh. It is the heaviest of the heavy versus the lightest of the light.
It's essentially a double advantage, and Raisy would not lose his aim even at all. So you could go on comparable stack and probably come out on top. So having the double stack advantage is going to be painful. Then you have the shield on top. It's just so difficult. And if he has picked this champion to try and hide and run away and at least keep the game relatively even, that's not going to happen. Raisy did not let that happen.
Now, on the flip side of that, ZSX, if Cha1n is able to win this map, it will be quite a feat.
Oh yeah.
And definitely something I think that can give him a burst of confidence where definitely can't count him out in what would be the decider coming up next. It's just of all the maps you will rate Raisy on, and even though, yeah, Clutch on this map is still can be a bit of a question mark, you still think that this is the map you would expect Raisy to win, and likely dominantly with how he just smothers you. You know, there are certain play styles in this game that can choke you out of stuff. Raisy just doesn't even let you play the game.
No, and that's the problem. Like, yes, Clutch is more difficult to play on this map than others, but I just don't think Nyx was the answer. That's my personal opinion.
Well, we are 9 minutes and 35 seconds away from finding out whether it will be the answer or not. That's now a Raisy. He's already in the advantageous position. Clutch on Ruined. Like, this is his home. This heavy right here,
no.
You cannot fight. There's a reason Cha1n didn't even think about going in there. Like, you can't. If Clutch is down there and the shield wall's ready, especially if he has a rocket launcher, like, you're dead.
Look at that. Like, look at that lightning gun. Insane.
But Cha1n is looking to lay the pressure on. Unfortunately, Raisy has other plans. You want to pressure me, mate? Here's this shotgun and my dash.
This is what I meant. Like, if you're going to play... If you're going to play the Knicks to try and keep the game even, like, Clutch is faster than you. Once you pop the Ghost Walk, he's going to chase you down. And already we see that Cha1n is in a lot of trouble as Clutch has now got enough items. He'll get a free Mega. What do you do as a Knicks? Like, that is the question. The only answer for me is try and hit the rails. Like, try and get positions that are open. Force Raisy out into the open. But as you can see, Raisy patrolling as close to the walling as he can, and already that's not good. Raisy,
oh, the perfect read. Oh my god, Raisy.
Oh, no.
You had a super shotgun, mate.
Yeah,
you did have that.
Why would you use it when you're Raisy?
Good.
And he knows there's no Ghost Walk up, right? He's got the shield, he can just push in. Like, he's... Oh dear, he's baiting the spawn out.
Yeah, this is very much a taste of things to come. And I think a bit of a mark that Cha1n is just getting immediately overwhelmed. This is just simply what Raisy's Clutch is all about.
And Clutch. Don't even think about it. Look how smooth the movement is. It's a joy to watch.
I mean, you know, it goes back to the whole Raisy makes it look easy discussion.
Yeah.
Clutch is probably one of the hardest champions in the game to control, next to like an Athena and stuff like that, of course. Like,
yeah, as
do it
efficiently
well.
as this, yeah.
With how much risk you are in, like, it's easy to underestimate just how much danger you are in as Clutch because he's so big. Like, he is very easy to hit. You don't miss rails, you don't miss LG. And then hitting all those shots while you're moving as fast as he goes, it's all very difficult to do.
Well, and the problem now is that Cha1n isn't playing the same game as everyone else. Cha1n is playing, how do I stay alive? It's not, how do I get on an item? How do I take control? It's, how do I not die? That's all Cha1n is playing because he can't do anything. He can't get on the items. He can't get near the items. If he goes near the items, he either has to pop the Ghost Walk and run away, or if he doesn't have the Ghost Walk, he will die because he will get charged down. He has to try and hit more rails, but he's not even doing that, and he's receiving equal ones. So as soon as you receive one as a Nyx, you just have to run, because you're not even denting a fully stacked Clutch.
And then once you have to run, Clutch will run faster than you can. That's now Raisy is kind of proving that, really. It's all about maintaining control. Every time Clutch gets one of these heavies, you are in danger.
Like, you need to maintain control as a Clutch, that is key. Obviously, you can do just as well off the small items, but if you maintain control, you're unstoppable. And at the moment, he is maintaining perfect control.
Raisy's not interested in the Mega immediately.
How quickly he moves around the
Psych,
map.
you thought you could escape? Think again.
Yeah. Got ya!
And Cha1n, tender. The fact that Raisy actually had disengaged a fight earlier to take a lot of the small pickups, there is nothing for Cha1n to collect. And if he does, it's nothing that will help him.
I mean, he's managed to stem the tide a little bit, but it's no help when Raisy's taken everything on the map. He's even damaging himself enough just to pick up this light armor. He doesn't give a damn.
If he knows that you have no armor and you're a light champion, why has he got to care about a massive overstack of the armor, I suppose, as now?
And he's stolen the entire map. The Cha1n is... Raisy now has 4 times as much stack as Cha1n.
I mean, what we're really seeing here, folks, is why everyone bans Clutch against Raisy.
Yeah.
Those that have played against him, they do not want to mess around with it.
I really am enjoying how efficiently he does move, to be fair. Like, those double reverse backs, they're difficult to pull off, and it's just a perfect understanding of how to play the champion. But once again, like, we haven't seen Cha1n in over a minute.
And you know why? It's because he doesn't want to risk it. But now he's been found, and like the decision will be made for him. Unless...
What?
There he is. And now the fight breaks out.
He's doing
some good LG, but now he's forced to disengage. The Ghost Walk used to just not die. And here comes a good rocket, but they trade. I mean, who gets the spawn? Raisy, look at all the armor. I mean, look at the spawn stack difference. ZSX, this is why it matters so much. Cha1n got a frag, but he had to fight tooth and nail for it, and it was a trade.
It was a trade, and it was Raisy just overcommitting. But yeah, like, this is the playstyle for Cha1n at the minute is I hope Raisy overcommits, and perhaps that's the most effective and only way to do it. But Ouch.
It's an understanding and a complete mastery of his champion. Raisy knows he's going to eat massive damage every time. So what's his goal? Okay, I'm just going to aim better than you.
That's just Raisy, right? Like,
every nail. That was basically every single nail.
but that's just Raisy. My point is that if he misses half of those rails and dies, we're like, what are you doing? But this is Raisy's playstyle. He doesn't care because A, he's confident enough to hit it. B, he will hit it. And C, it doesn't matter. He'll just come back and do it again.
Clutch only Maestro Raisy in full force.
This is the definition of playing not to lose, but you're already losing. So I don't know what the solution is. This is...
But now Raisy, he's just happy to keep Cha1n weak. Chokehold, deny once more. I mean, if Nyx is unable to even get light armors, then what does she do?
Yeah, and that's one of the features Raisy's done exceptionally well, is that he's just begun to eat up the map, a bit like Pac-Man. He's just going around taking everything away from Cha1n. He has almost a perfect rotation of all 4 items. See you later, Cha1n, already popping the Ghost Walk. Now Raisy's probably going to try and double back and guess, and he guesses the wrong way. But it doesn't matter, because he's got a major item.
And he's still been able to find it all the same. Nowhere to run now, Cha1n. Either with a stack. Do I have to care about the teleporter? No,
The thing is, as soon as you get this close, yeah, Cha1n can't rail, because 1 rail is going to do nothing. 2 rails are going to do nothing. You have to hit 4 rails to kill Raisy.
And that's while he's damaging you.
And that's while he's chasing you. Yeah, so as soon as you get into these close combat situations, you're going to die.
I can, honestly, I know we've pretty much spent this entire time talking about Raisy, but it's because Cha1n has not been allowed to play this game.
There's nothing to talk about for Cha1n. It's not the right pick.
Can't even think about how stressful this must be.
It's horrible. It's genuinely horrible for Cha1n. It's...
And that's, I don't know if anyone heard that. That was definitely a pop-off in the back seat. I love the
American one.
Sounded like Dewey to me. That sounded like Dewey.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the story comes down to Cha1n is not the pick. Sorry, Cha1n is not the pick? I hope not. Nyx is not the pick. And it's just because the stack differential is too big. He's not been able to make an imprint on Clutch. The one frag came from Raisy, hugely overcommitting, and it didn't matter because it was a trade anyway.
Another fight going to break out. Cha1n, no Ghost Walk in sight. This will absolutely be a free frag. And just a little luxury. I don't want to use the shield wall anymore. You just pop the mining drill. It automatically cancels out because you press it again. That's it. Cooldown begins once more. This has just been dominance all the way through.
He has at least a perfect rotation on 3 items. Because every time he's picking up that small item, he's then double backing down to the heavy.
Oh, that rail as well. Last minute flick to the right, just knowing the movement. And Cha1n, once again, just backed into a corner. I mean, the second he gets seen, he's dead. There's nothing he can do about it.
I know. I mean, Raisy's out railing and Nyx as a clutch. And this is what we said, is that Raisy will probably out-aim you as a clutch.
Truly the 1%.
It's why he's championship material. And this is why you ban clutch.
Oh, absolutely. Hashtag ban clutch all the way.
I mean, hopefully not, so we can see more of it. But
oh no, always. That's the reason I was hyped when I saw it in the picks and bans. I just every time it's a treat. It's a treat.
It's like the reverse Keel.
Well, I like Keel. You don't. That's the difference.
Yeah, Keel's a scumbag.
Well, oh, okay. There's that shotgun again on Raisy. Thing is, now we've got a minute left. This is where Raisy might start partying. He normally parties around this time.
I think he's been partying since he picked clutch.
But like, he's gonna get Gauntlet. I guarantee he's gonna try and Gauntlet.
He's already had a Gauntlet kill.
No, but he's gonna try Gauntlet now. Look, I told you. I told you. He's partying, man. The master of the party. When there's a minute left to go, and he's like, okay, cool. We'll have one now. So I can maybe get some Twitch highlights on my Twitter.
To be fair, a valid analytical point is Raisy and Rafa are the 2 players who utilize the super shotgun probably better than anyone else. Like, it's just, yeah, more people need to use that. Oh, his rails are really, really good.
I just feel like at this point, because it's so over and it's been this constant thing, it's more just watching and appreciating the clutch in play. I do admit I feel for Cha1n. This has been a rough road for him.
Like we've said, he's not been hitting as much as Raisy, which is entirely true, but Raisy's speed and awareness of how to position with clutch in fights and moving into fights is second to none. And as you said, it's because he uses it so much. If you watch his approaches, he always skirts around the outside, does a double back, waits for the rail to go, and then brushes in. So it's, while he makes it look easy, it's a mastery.
And that was making it look easy personified. Raisy proving why he is absolutely one of the absolute greatest and the best clutch in the world. I do feel for Cha1n. That was a hard draw. And there's a reason Clutch gets banned, and that's all I'm saying. Like, if you're against Raisy, get rid of that champion.
100%. And it was Raisy in control throughout. The first map was a lot closer, obviously. It did feel that Raisy definitely had the upper hand for virtually the whole series, but this second map was just, again, a story of why people in Europe have been banning this champion against him. And also at the same time, when you have someone as good as Raisy, why Nyx is not the answer.
At the same, yeah, you kind of just look at the vulnerability. Cha1n was at no point really ever able to use the Ghost Walk to give himself an advantage. It was to simply delay the fact that he was going to die in about 10 seconds. It was, you've seen me, I'm going to use the Ghost Walk. Even if you get an incorrect read on where she's going to go, Clutch's movement is so snappy that you can kind of just go, okay, he's not here, dash, 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 I'm now going to check this place.
And the thing is, right, if you have a 200 Raisy rushing with a shield, you've got to do, what, 600 damage?
Good luck.
Before Raisy kills you, if you want to kill Raisy first. Like, it's just unbelievable.
It did look like Cha1n's playstyle essentially was to just try and bait him into some kind of trap. Like, that was his one goal, is as soon as Raisy makes a mistake, then I'll find my in. But that time never came. He spent the entire time playing a game of cat and mouse, but this cat is absolutely ginormous, and he's a massive robot, and just smashed his way through.
Clutch has had, it's been quite, I know Clutch is not the most popular champion among, you know, he's a Marmite. Some people, they love watching it, but if you're playing against it, it is a nightmare, especially in the hands of, but it's not every day, it's just in the hands of someone who is that talented. Like, Raisy is 1 in a million when it comes to just his ability. And from those that have followed Quake Champions in its competitive journey, Clutch has had, I think, one of the biggest, I guess, evolutions of a single champion than almost any other champion, where he's gone through so many different phases. But what was the #1 way back in the day that was seen to be like the way you beat Clutch was, oh, bait the shield out of him, and then when he has no shield, he's more of a sitting duck. But we did not see this level of Clutch aggression back then at all. You know, there's always the difference that it was a different style of game mode, it was the round-based system and stuff like that, but it just feels like he has approached Raisy, as someone who's used Clutch that entire time, just approaches the champion with a slightly different mind now than he did a couple of years ago.
It was everything, right? It's a perfect timing rotation. It was a suffocation of Cha1n. He didn't even just take the major items, he took the small items as much as possible. But then it was the mastery in the way in which he baits Cha1n's rails, out-rails Cha1n because his aim is disgusting, and then pushes him for the kill. It's kind of that full 360 package of perfect play.
You forget the fact that he is about 5 times the thickness of Nyx, and Nyx is one of the harder champions to rail.
It doesn't matter.
When you take the skill and it's like they will just hit it, you take that factor, which is normally quite an important factor, and you just throw it out the window because he's gonna hit it. That's just the way it is.
As soon as Cha1n misses a rail, you've got a fridge flying at you at 300 miles an hour. You just get splatted into a wall.
He did not stop. The movement was impeccable. The frags were ridiculous. It was absolutely flamboyant and just classic Raisy. And he does walk away as the victor in that best of 3. But we're not done yet, even though that one will knock us for 6 and we need time to recover. We're going to take 5, reset, and then come back in with some more flamboyant Quake action.